What you have in the United States today is corporations, compounded on top of corporations, and they devour each other. And their brain activity is terrible. It's all about survival of the fittest. It has nothing to do with compassion or mercy or intelligence or reason. No. When you watch TV, a lot of times, that they'll have, it doesn't matter what you're watching. If you're watching Matlock, if you're watching Will Trent, if you're watching 2020, if you're watching Dateline, they had the thing with the kid that taught how to hunt down and kill serial killers at Washington State University, and went and killed some kids allegedly in Idaho, at the University of Idaho. And they said, he goes and he looks up things about serial killers. So he becomes acutely paranoid and schizophrenic. Because, it's like Malcolm X said, that when you fight something, you brush your teeth in the morning, you find out you turned into the very thing that you're fighting. Because you think that that's the way it's supposed to be. All right, and they take the teachings of Jesus and the teachings of Muhammad, and they turn them into this reflection of these mass murdering cult corporations. And you hear the farmers get on TV and this and that, and our farmers and this and that. That's a cash cropper. That's not a farmer. A farmer is a person who gets his family together and works, there were certain times where the Packers used to do that, but it just all died off, and now it's just all pesticides and death for cash cropping, and the trees look like shit. Right? Unless you have someone around to put in the effort and the love, that they're just going to kill you with chemical poisoning and kill all the people that do the work with access to the chemicals. And then their family will go to a personal injury lawyer in Las Cruces, or, like what happened with the coach at New Mexico State University. He made $600,000. And he'll get $100,000 of it, and $400,000 of it will go to his lawyers, right? And money's not real. Do you understand? And so it's just a way to manipulate people through aggressive activities to get them to compete over genocidal operations. Money has nothing to do with anything as far as logic, reason, intelligence, compassion, mercy, or love. Money is just an instrument or a tool to have people move aggressively to perform genocidal type of activities, things that get people killed through car accidents, through law enforcement. In order to have law enforcement, you need criminal activity. If there's no criminal activity, you're not decreasing the surplus population through violent activities. Fentanyl is necessary to maintain population controls, to maintain order, to maintain a government. It's just that simple. In order to maintain a government, you need a necessity for a government. If there's no necessity for a government, then it does no longer exist. It doesn't serve its purpose. If you live in a clean environment, you don't need a large hospital, and you don't need people bombarded with radiation and their bodies ripped apart because their bodies are trying to shut down and show it mercy because the poison and the stress is just not stopping. Do you understand? I am certain that once human beings are free from this violent psychotic brain activity, that they will share a caregiving accordance need built to last. I'm sure that they'll understand Proverbs. Proverbs, a book, it doesn't help, because corporations, they had a guy yesterday advertising for the Catholic Church to get people to come on Sundays to up their numbers, to get advertising dollars. The reason why they're doing that is because they're a business. So they're going to work off of numbers and advertising dollars too. And there's going to be some kind of, and then you got to get kids to go to cathedral, and you got to get kids to go to all the different schools and stuff where they charge exorbitant amount, but you get the best quality education and yada yada and all that bullshit, But money's not real, so every time you can get people to manipulate other people with money, you're getting people to be attached to lie, competition over lie, and then the brain starts to work in that pattern of behavior. And that pattern of behavior is very self-destructive and has trouble being the solution to the problem. It has to solve problems. And the best way for the brain to work is to be the solution to the problem before the problem ever arises. And that's not happening because we haven't eliminated philanthropy. And we need to eliminate philanthropy altogether so the brain can already understand solutions before the problem ever arises. And so like routines are excellent to have when you're understanding nature and following nature. And when you're going out of contrast to nature, you're cash cropping, you're mass murdering, you're sending people off to war, you're sending them off to work, you have them doing cogs and sprockets, you have them doing, Jetsons things and Flintstone things, and and things that make a joke about the cavemen. The cavemen weren't that stupid. They had what they needed. They didn't have all these modern conveniences and stuff to make their life more convenient, so you could turn people into Rosie the Riveter and shit like that. And so when you manipulate matter and you do things, you come up with this great idea to become, the piano necktie guy and all that stuff. When you do something and it helps make life a better quality of life for human beings, there's certain kinds of indoor plumbing, refrigeration, things like that. Frozen food isn't a bad thing. It's a way of preserving things. When you watch Bedazzled, that's a screenwriter. Okay. That's a screenwriter seeing things as bad. Okay. And freezing food to preserve it so you can feed more people with it. It's because of extreme conditions, but that happens. We have lots of people. And once we develop more farming and stuff like that, a lot of that extreme conditions is going to subside, and you'll eat more fresh foods. But in the meantime, it's not a terrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. Frozen broccoli, things like that, still has a lot of good food quality and value in it. It still does. Okay. Lots of, that's how they prepare most sushi is, they freeze it because it kills the bacteria. And then they thaw it, then you have a certain amount of days to eat it. And then if you don't, it'll make you sick and can make you really sick, so don't do that. But you guys just got to understand, science is only as good as the love that the people are capable of understanding experiences, and most scientists are exceedingly broken because they lack the courage of kindness to get up and they lose their minds when they got to be the great scientific, and then they go completely wacko. And you got to just get them focused on, okay, first you got to forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. You'll be doing a lot less science, especially studying the brain. The reason why people are studying the brain is because it's a huge industry in order to manipulate the brain, in order to get it to accept the fact that we're not living debt and trespass free. Okay. And that's the main thing. That's Krishnamurti used to talk to scientists about, and him and Jonas Salk and others and Ben Brahm, and they would sit and talk about that. And he would say, well, no, if you do this, then the brain will react differently. What's happening now is the brain is not working properly because we're not working properly. We're believing in things that do not exist. We're making up stuff to justify our insanity, and we're giving ourselves magic outs of our, you can watch all the Guardians of the Galaxy, Endgame, okay? You have these magic outs. Boom, okay, let's reset it. Let's hit the reset button. Let's they're back to life. All that bullshit. Okay, I mean, I, cloning people is not a solution. It just means Adolf Hitler just cloned 5 more stormtroopers so he could go hunt down and kill all the guys at D-Day. Our jocks beat your jocks. Yay! We got a jock back that mass murders people over money and is a mental and emotional rapist. Wow. Well, that's exciting. Boy, but he sure is hot. He is. He's always running around doing it for the camera. Ooh, sexy, sexy fucking killer. Yeah, it's real sexy when you mass murder people that are fighting to sexually procreate with people that don't think too good. It's depressing as hell when you watch it on 2020 or Dateline. Okay, they offer no solutions. They send you right back into social training for aggressive and violent, irrational sexual behavior. The jokes suck. The music sucks. I was watching the cancer stand-up thing. This music sucks. Okay, it's just, is there anything left I can say to make life like it was yesterday? No, it sucked yesterday too. They were more innocent, but there was still philanthropy and no Lord's Prayer, so it sucked too. We'll just have to listen and go, wow, some of the stuff was really beautiful while they were surviving hell. Yeah, like a flower and a baby. Yeah. Okay, guys, I love you, but let's get to the kingdom of heaven, and then we'll reminisce and this and that and have such a good time. Ooh, la, loo, lolly, golly, what a day. Man, I'm tired. Okay, guys, I love you, all right? Peace out.